Hi everyone, this is a short video tutorial on how to submit the 2022-2023 IE results report for academic programs. So this video is for department chairs and or assessment coordinators in academic programs who are responsible for submitting the 2022-2023 IE results report. So I'm going to start with how to access the IE planning area within Microsoft Teams. This is where we collect and store most of our documentation for the IE process. When you log into Microsoft Teams, you're going to want to make sure over here that you've clicked on Teams in the left-hand navigation, and then you'll see a list of all the teams that you are a part of. These are the ones that I'm a part of. And our team is called IE Planning. So you want to click on the IE Planning team. Once in there, be sure to go up to the top and click on Files. It defaults to this Posts screen, which is places that we share messages with the entire team. But what you're looking for is Files. So at the top here, at the very top bar, you want to click on Files. Within the Files screen in the IE Planning team, you will see a folder called 2022-2023 IE Planning Cycle. So you want to click on that to open that up. So since you are working on the IE results reports for 22-23, you will click on the folder that says Links for 2022-23 IE results reports right here. In this folder, you will see a Word file called 2022-23 Degree Certificate Program Results Report Template. The template for the results report is this Word document, so you will need to download a copy of this for each academic program for which you are submitting your results report. If you are submitting reports by concentration within a degree program, you will need to download a copy of this and submit a copy of the results report template for each concentration for which you are reporting. Some of you don't do that. Some of you just submit one report for the degree program overall, regardless of concentration. In that case, you would just need to submit one report for that program. So you'll open this Word file. This is what the template looks like. And to download it, you'll go over here and click these three little dots in the upper right-hand corner and click download. When you do that, it might go to different places depending on your computer. I get a little pop-up. If you don't get a pop-up or it disappears, you can always navigate to your files and find a folder called Downloads. Usually that's where it lives. So once you've downloaded the template, then you're ready to go ahead and get started filling it in. This the top of the first page is really just instructions, most of which I'm going over today in this video. If you scroll down to the bottom of page 1, you're going to be asked to input the degree program or certificate name for which you're submitting the report, the assessment coordinator's name, usually the person submitting the report. That could be the chair or another faculty member in the department who serves as the assessment coordinator for the program, and then a space to put your program or department mission statement if you have one. The first part of the report is where you will enter the first student learning outcome you measured last academic year, and then you will enter items related to the measures for that outcome. Now I'm going to pause here and close this file and show you where you can find the plan that was submitted for your program for 22-23 if you do not have a copy of it yourself. So if you go back to the folders, I'll go all the way back to the beginning to show you. I'm going to click on Files. If you go back to the 22-23 IE planning cycle folder, you'll see a folder in there above the results report one that is called IE plans. If you open the IE plans folder, you go to degree and certificate programs, find the college in which your program lives, and you will see the plans listed there. So then you can open it, you can download it, whatever you want to do with your plan. Some are in Word, some are in PDF, but you can find the plan that was submitted. That is what you will use to generate your results report. So if we go back to files, if we go back to the 2022-23 IE planning cycle folder, we can go back to results reports and go back to our template. You will have this file on your computer saved as you fill it out. I would save early, save often. So here, when you're identifying the first outcome that you measured in academic year 22-23, this is something that in theory you should be able to just copy and paste from the plan document that I just showed you how to find. If for some reason the outcome you have measured last academic year has changed, you can enter a different one here, but I need you to reach out to me and let me know that something has changed so that we're able to account for that on our end. So here where it says enter the first SLO measured is what you will put there. For measure one, there is a drop down that you will select the type of measure. You'll describe the measure. You'll describe the target. All of these things should be in the plan that was submitted for your program in 22-23. Again, if that has changed, you can put the new information here, but I need you to let me know that something has changed. Please send me an email or give me a call. Under results, this will look familiar if you've done this before. There's options to say that the target was met, not met, or partially met. This is where the new information for the results report starts. This will not be in the plan. This is what you found based on the plan that you executed. There's a new option for this results report that is called insufficient results. So this is to address situations where you did not collect enough student work or data to be able to analyze and make determinations based on that. That could be because there was too few students who completed the assessment. So maybe you only had 2 of them who graduated or 2 who completed the assignment, or it could be some other disruption that resulted in insufficient results. For example, when we had the cyber attack, there were folks who weren't able to complete an exam that they had planned and had to pivot to a different way to assess students in the course, and they weren't able to report on that data. Either way, if the results are not sufficient for you to report on, usually that's because there's too few of them. You would now select the insufficient results item under results. Then if you select insufficient results, you must also select one of these options for how you will address that moving forward to generate sufficient results. So you can select more than one of these, but you must select one of them. And if you select other, you're going to need to explain that. So this new format is meant to close a loophole where, for instance, low enrolled programs or programs consistently not getting enough sufficient results each year after year never submitted actions or results reports because in a given year they didn't have enough data. What this does is help you think about how you're going to collect enough data over multiple years or by changing the assessment or whatever that might be so that you can actually have enough to assess the outcome. Again, number of students that were assessed, met target. This is all probably familiar information if you've done this before. Then for that measure, you will summarize the results, which is really just a description of what you found. Then the reflective analysis is what those results mean to you, to the program. So this is usually generated after some discussion amongst the department perhaps at the faculty meetings that happened before the start of the semester, to decide what these results mean to you and what you intend to do about them. So the reflective analysis is really the context for those results and the meaning of them to you internally in the program. Then there are questions asking you if the results illustrated a difference between online and face-to-face students or by location. We ask you to report on that if you notice a difference, because that is important to SAC-COC, but it is also important internally to know that our learning outcomes are being delivered and achieved or not achieved in the same way across all modalities and locations. Then you will do the exact same thing for the second measure for your first SLO that was measured last year for your first student learning outcome. If there was not a second measure, you are going to need to also explain that to me in an email so that I can account for that on our end. Then you will go to SLO number 1, planned action. So this section is you reporting on whether or not the program plans to take actions based on the results for SLO number 1. And if not, providing an explanation and rationale for not taking actions. This is a bit of a change. You might remember that we used to have planned actions after each measure. So you would have to say your planned actions after measure 1 and your planned actions after measure 2. In reality, you're actually identifying actions based on the overall results for all measures for the SLO. So we've narrowed it down to just one section per SLO for planned actions, where you're taking into account both measures. So maybe one measure suggests an action and the other one doesn't. You can explain that here in your narrative sections in the planned action section. So the first thing you'll do is say whether or not the program plans to take action based on this specific year's results. If you select no, that you do not intend to take actions as a program based on this year's results, then you must explain why that is. I want to specifically note that we have added a line about including a description of past improvements or changes related to this SLO within about the last 3 years. So what we're trying to capture here is that even if you aren't taking an action based specifically on last year's results, that you have recently in the past few years, have you taken any other actions based on assessment results to improve learning related to this SLO? So that could be program level changes, policy changes, course level changes, whatever that might be, curricular changes. We would just want to, we're just trying to capture that here so that we can make that evident in our reporting to SAC-COC, so that even if you're not taking actions based on 22-23 results, you can include past improvements or changes that you've made related to this particular SLO. If you select yes, and you are planning to take action based on this year's results, you can describe all of that here. And we ask that you provide all of these required details about that planned action. If you are taking an action based on 22-23 results and you've taken past actions that you want to mention, this is the place to do that. You can do that in the description of the actions that you plan to take based on this year's results. Just include anything you want to include about past actions if you feel that's relevant. Not required, but if you feel it's relevant, please include it there. Then it will ask you about the second SLO that you measured in 22-23. A reminder that we require you to measure at least 2 SLOs every academic year. So here is where you will go back to your plan that was submitted and you'll paste in the SLO that was measured in 22-23. Again, if that or the measure for that second SLO has changed since you submitted the plan, please let me know so that I can rectify that on my end, please. And then you'll follow the same steps that you did for SLO 1. You'll select whether the target was met, not met, partially met, or for this year's report, if you had insufficient results and what you plan to do about that. the numbers assessed, etc. You'll do the same thing where you discuss what the results are. You describe that under summary, and then you reflect on that under the analysis section. You indicate whether there was a difference between online or face-to-face or location, and then you'll do the same for the second measure. Again, if there is not a second measure, we need you to enter that there, or if you have trouble entering it on this form, some of the fields are locked, you can just shoot it to me in an email. Same with measure 2 for outcome 2. You will fill out whether you met the target, describe the results, etc. And then again, you will be asked about planned actions related to the assessment of SLO2. And again, you're taking into account all of the results for both measures if you had 2 measures. Same deal, if you don't plan to take results related to student learning outcome number 2, then you must explain why. And then that's also a place we would like you to include any past improvements or changes related to this SLO in the past 3 years. And then if you are going to take actions based on this year's results for SLO2, then here's where you'll enter the details related to that. So the plan will help you copy and paste or enter the outcomes that were measured in 22-23 and what the measures were. And then you will be asked to enter more information about the results and planned actions in this Word template. So make sure, again, you're saving early, saving often on your own computer with your own copy of that template. And then when you're ready to submit it, in that links for IE results reports folder, this one right here, there's another folder called Degree and Certificate Program Results Reports Upload Here. So you open that up. There's another copy of the template in there, but here's where you will upload your completed results reports for 22-23. So you'll go up to Upload, you'll click Files, and then that allows you to navigate to your folders on your computer where you've saved your results reports and upload those to Teams. And then it'll show up here once you've uploaded it. And that's all you need to do. You don't need to let me know that you've uploaded it. Allie checks this in our office on a pretty regular basis, and Brandy to help us track which have been submitted. And if you go back to the planning cycle folder for 22-23, you'll see something here called completion report. So this is manual, but Allie works to update this on at least a weekly basis. And here's where you'll see all the degree programs listed. And if you scroll over, here's where you've submitted your plans. And then once we receive them, Allie updates this with a yes for results report submitted. So if you want to take a look and see whether or not we've marked yours complete, you can see that here. If when we receive these reports, we have lingering questions or required fields were not completed, we will send it back to you and ask you to complete what we need, or ask you clarifying questions that maybe weren't addressed in your report. So please try to fill out all the fields that are required or relevant, and please try to do it completely and seriously. And most importantly, please do it on time. So the deadline for these reports is September 15th, 2023. That deadline is even more important than usual because our office will need to turn these reports around very quickly and make sure they are in order as evidence for SACs who may request those pieces of evidence between the submission of our narrative in early September and the on-site review in April. And we have to have those at the ready in September in case they are requested. So be sure to submit those on time. Reach out to me if you have any questions. And we will also be offering a couple Q&A sessions in addition to this recorded tutorial. Thank you.